Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity, bottom left hand corner with a sneaky ID name. This is actually Dewalt, starting as the purple Protoss. Thought we got one for Bonnet, might as well get one for Dewalt. Bottom right hand corner we got Zelot, starting as the yellow Zerg. This is on Pantheon, which I'm trying to recall the big hole. Look at the kind of star thing that you got going in the middle of the map here. Isn't that kind of a cool star field effect? Maybe that's what they're trying to show off. They're like, look at this background window thing that's underneath the map that no one ever gets to see. Kind of makes me wonder what this place, like these areas actually are. Is this just like a, as far as lore wise, like the green areas, it's like planets, right? They don't have snow planets because it blinds the pro gamers. That's why they don't really have the white, you don't have the white tile set as often anymore. But these just feel like, what are these space platforms? Just random space platforms that somehow have oxygen. And I feel like you should, lore-wise, be obligated. We're going to hunt really fast. Lore, by the way, we're seeing a pylon set up to go for... We'll see if that's Forge Fast, Expander, Gateway first. But I feel like lore-wise, you should be obligated to put like random little things that... Maybe that's what those spinning fan things are. Something to generate oxygen on these things, right? Or maybe Protoss and Zerg don't need oxygen, and that's why Terran... And Terran technically are in their little spacesuit things, right? So anyway, I digress. We are... maybe Vespene gas creates oxygen, and just like mining it in, it's like the equivalent of oil maybe. It's you mine the Vespene gas for your war machine and capitalism, but slowly, okay, bad metaphor. Anyway, Zelot's gonna get first scout. He's gone for what looks like he's gone for an overpool. Or never mind, he's gonna go for I'm totally misreading this because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, no, went for an overpool. That's a spawning pool. I didn't misread it. Just being sneaky here. But in the meantime, Dewalt went for a 12 Nexus. Ooh. 12 Nexus, and this could be a very fast one. Zelot dropping the, well, okay, actually Zelot, okay, he sees the Nexus. There's the Forge. Fortunately, Dewalt gets first scout. He might be able to delay the Zerglings initially. Is it going to be, and it looks like, okay, Zelot being gracious here, not going to 6 Zerglings. I don't think this is such a large map that you can't do disruption here. Dewalt not able to get some damage on that initial drone as it's making its way across, but does see the spawning pool and does see the 4 Zerglings. So there should be a pull. I believe the Zerglings, as long as they don't get interrupted by this probe. Well, actually, Dewalt doing a good job of kind of like trying to walk into it and getting okay, able to block off that one. Ooh, getting a lot of time on that single Zergling, although getting in a fight, not what he wanted to do right there. A gateway and a cannon have been dropped. There still should be a probe pull. Yeah, and the probes still should make their way up to try to defend this. This is going to be a necessity. It might end up with some additional kills. So it's going to be, okay, so 3 probes down here early because Dewalt going for greed. And are they going to make it into the main? Kind of blockading both directions. Oh, and so a Zergling able to sneak in underneath might be able to deny mining at that southern position. And it's going to be a minute before there's a Zealot out to unfortunately, I'm going to be talking about Zealot and Zealots here out in the corner, but Dewalt having some major early economic damage here, and he's pulling 3 probes to try to deal with these Zerglings, wants them out of his base. This is additional delay mining time. The Zergling at the natural expansion getting dealt with. This is going to be a 3rd base up, by the way, the 3 o'clock location. And so, yeah, and Dewalt not having it with these 3 Zerglings, so trying to pull the probes, pull the boys, and go for additional harassment attacks, and we'll see if Zelot can capitalize and get yet another kill. One of these guys has already tasted blood, but point being, Dewalt at 19 workers where he would have been at like 23 workers here right this second. Now here's the thing, he did go for a 12 Nexus, I'm recognizing. So with that 12 Nexus, he still might end up economically ahead out of this, and I think he is actually ending up economically ahead out of all this. So the fact that he defended, he did take 3 losses. Oh, look at this blockade, getting a little bit additional damage. Is he going to lose another one? So 4. So I think that does put things back to where it would be normally. As far as the Cybernetics core dropping in the main, by the way, Zelot going to be able to get the additional scouting information. And still a little bit of additional economic harassment between everything, which I think is putting... So Dewalt's ending up with more workers than he would usually. Actually, he's dropped that assimilator at his natural expansion. This is kind of cute. Hiding his gas. Now dropping the second assimilator to his main. Is Zelot going to be... I think he's trying to bait Zelot towards that cannon to try to explore and check that out. In the meantime, I haven't looked at Zelot's base in forever. He's got gas up. He's got a hydro sten, so it looks like because of the lack of scouting information from Dewalt, He is not sent out, and he's got the Zergling on front, the Overlord making its way to check. This probe, ooh, is going to be able to easily make its way out. The Zergling's beleaguered. I think I might have missed another kill. Maybe not in the space of that. We do have the Stargate dropping. This does give information to Zelot that it is in fact 2 gas, because how would that have been dropped otherwise? The Hydros are still holding at main base though, right this second. So a lot of Hydros being built. They're going for range. I believe this is range before speed. The Hydralisks have been spotted regardless, and Dewalt actually going to be able to wander in and at least get drone saturation looks, and he's going to know he needs to build some defensive cannons here. This is so we got what, get the Overlord out of there, 9-6-3. So this is a little bit more slew cannons. Drop that a necessity here. This is a little bit more economically impactful at this stage, but I have a feeling Zelot isn't going to go for the bust here. This is what I won't comment on ASL, but I will say you've seen this build in ASL. So that gateway going to go down pretty rapidly. +1 weapons also going to be delayed in the midst of this. We do have, it looks like 5 cannons and a good amount of Zealots. This might get dicey. The probes might need to be pulled. Looks like the Zerglings in the main got taken care of. Citadel of Adun up in the meantime for Dewalt, dropping 2 additional cannons. Ooh, and Zelot taking a little bit of a shot in the face in the midst of this. So now we'll keep an eye and see whether, yeah, so he's going to go ahead and layer at the 9 o'clock location, tack on a 4th hatchery, and tack on his 2nd gas. So he's definitely planning on transitioning out of this, and we'll see if this turns into a hard contain. A single Zergling walking its way up to see whether the probes were in fact there. So what is this? It looks like a control group and some change. Control group +3. So 15 Hydralisks out on the front. And this is too many cannons now to contend with this. Granted, there weren't a lot of Zealots on the front. Was there even a, is there a gateway? Okay, we got 2 additional gateways building in the back corner. +1 weapon cycling. A robotics facility. So it looks like it's going to be some sort of mech heavy transition here for Dewalt against Zelot here. Zelot has supply capped himself a little bit. Maybe it's the Corsair. No, Corsair did not get a kill. Corsair's moved up, seized the 6 hatcheries. Only a single Hydralis defending right there, right this second. We do have so we got +1 missile weapons, launch the missiles, and the Hydralis then going ahead and morphing Lurker. So it looks like Zelot wants to play this as kind of a standard contained sort of situation, +1 weapons upgrading. And we'll see if it's Dark Templars initially here to try to push out. The Overlord is in a very protected position. Corsair trying to tap away at what it can, getting some shield tread, and we have a lot. So we're seeing the drones surge. Dewalt's currently holding at 40 workers, and we got another drone that's already making its way out in the map. Ooh, is that Corsair trying to find it actually to trail it up? So it looks like, yeah, Zelot's just gonna drop. He's like, okay, you can't bust this right this second. It's gonna be a minute before you can do anything about this. So I'm just gonna wander out and go ahead and take an additional base. And it looks like it's gonna be the low ground, the upper right-hand corner. Dewalt's gonna be able to see it. We got a couple Dark Templars scooped up. Do we have any EDTs in the main here? We have an Overlord building in the main, but not a lot of defenses at location. We got a whole bunch of Overlords at this location. We have Overlord speed not that far from completing. Are the Hydralisks? Okay, Hydralis might, I think they spotted it. Single Dark Templar dropping. Wants to cut off reinforcements. These Hydralis immediately going back to the main. And the Overlord is going to spawn right in the nick of time. So this is going to be basically nothing out of this DT. This DT can go to the north though and potentially wipe out that hatchery. And we just have the 2 Hydralisks right here that have no detection. Overlord now spawning. Is he going to get there in time? No, actually they're getting asleep at the wheel. So now at least a few drone kills. Nice drone drill. So 3, 4, still worth it. 5, and getting some good disruption on gas in the midst of this, but a bunch of Lurkers now starting to morph on the front. 4 High Templar in the space of this, and an Arbiter Tribunal? Question mark? Was this intentional? We have an Arbiter building in the space of this. Huh. Okay, I think a Dark Templar tried to make its way in and died. Here, I'm not sure it was there, it's now gone. Is it just trailing it? Is it in there? No, it's gone. So I presume it just didn't get anything. But in the meantime, Zelot, very, very strong economy, now dropping that Spire to potentially go for a tech switch against the Corsair. Some Zealots scooping up. We'll see if there is a tech switch. We have actually transport for Overlord also being morphed. Going to try to exploit that lack of air. We have a bunch of gateways dropping. Some Psystorm upgrading in the meantime. Ooh, that Corsair getting wiped out, and that's even fewer. So Dewalt in a very precarious situation here. He's going to have an Arbiter, which will be interesting. I don't know if that's going to help him a lot here, though, because there's an Overlord on the front. I suppose if he wipes out that Overlord, but he doesn't have Corsair right now to really make that happen. He is dropping some additional cannons in his main, but the problem with this is I like the cleverness of this. It looks like some Zealots making their way to the north. That was spotted by Zealot. Might be able to get some disruption here, but Zealot's economy is just incredible right this second. A lot of Psystorm to work with, though. Range just getting upgraded. I don't think this is going to be for recall. And there's not a lot. Okay, we got 2 Overlords here. I'll be interested how Dewalt attempts to use this. This will be very experimental. Do we have Hydralisks to the north yet? We have no Hydralisks to the north to help defend this. It looks like they're trying to make their way there. The Zealots are not. They're still on no leg speed. Never mind, leg speed just kicking in. So might be able to get some kills. It's going to take some focus fire. And at least it'll be a slight economic disruption. Yeah, the drones pulling in to go ahead and drill and defend themselves. One Zealot going to split off just to make sure that the main's not up. In the meantime, we have Scourge out. Did that? Okay, we Arbiter's there. Scourge taking some, at least that taken care of. Now I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious if this is a ploy to make it look like there's less of an army there. I don't know. We'll see. Zealots cleaned up to the north. Another shuttle full of Zealots making their way out. Dewalt's down on supply. The economy is even overall. I am just interested to see how this plays out. This shuttle at least able to drop some Zealots out in the field, but they're getting cleaned up very rapidly. Another Zealot kind of marching its way out. And Zealot has a pretty good... So he's got a couple Lurkers and a whole lot of Hydralisks. So I will be interested to see if this Arbiter comes into play at all and what effect it has. And yes, this will be interesting. This will be very interesting. Oh, he's going up. Recall? Are you kidding me? Recall? Okay, so he's got recall developed. Recall's developed, but okay, and he's kind of peeking out like he's gonna break out, but it's still gonna be a minute before he has enough energy. So it's gonna be another, what, 30? How fast is this? We need to get to 150, and there's the Mutalisk switch making its way up. Can he hide the Arbiter? Okay, trying to Psystorm. An okay storm in the midst of this. I was expecting this a lot earlier. The Arbiter making its way out to try to hide itself. The Arbiter Tribunal's also got to hide itself. And now the Mule's starting to just attack. That's going to pull the Dragoons out of position potentially. Here goes the Arbiter, though. It'll have the energy on the way. These Mutalists drawing their way out. And so Zealot has this massive contain. Arbiter's been spotted. And this is going to be a dump on the main. And so now this could turn into a base race scenario, depending on the size of this recall. Okay, in the base, here's the Hydralisks coming in a bit late. Psystorm with it. And this could be a dead main. Okay, now the Mutalisks making their way back. I don't think there's enough Psystorm for those Mutalisks, and there certainly is no stasis in the midst of this. More Psystorm. There's the Arbiter down. A lot of the drones have been wiped out. But unfortunately, Zealot's economy is just a bit too strong. More Psystorm getting dropped. And yeah, this doesn't look like... I like the idea, but it does not look like it paid out. Now Zealot just has a much stronger army, +2 weapons versus +1 armor, which will help blunt it a little bit. But that also delayed Observer Tech, delayed a lot of other things, and Zealot now has a larger economy. He's now getting another base. The Zealot's going to be able to... He's going to get cleaned up here, top right. Ooh. So yeah, he's getting wiped out, and we just have, if you just look, you can just see kind of this layer of purple on the exterior of Dewalt's base. And now it has to go try to break out of this location proper. Is getting the Lurkers cleaned up fairly quickly, but +2 weapon Hydralisks insufficient. Well, actually, looks like Zealot's not crashing down, instead going for the drop in the main, so going to return favor for favor. Dewalt responding to it pretty rapidly, though. So drawing back, but this is going to be, ooh, this is going to be a pretty sizable swarm. Does he have this? This is Psystorm. This would be fantastic to Psystorm. Unfortunately, losing a lot of probes. So as far as the recalling an army gameplay into your opponent's base, Zealot executing it just a little bit more favorably. Part of the problem with this is Protoss has to work against their own SimCity, right? Where Zerg, because they just have a lack of buildings, some Zealots, by the way, storming out to the top right, so might be able to make something out of this, but the Nexus gone in the main. Dewalt's at a single base right this second. Okay, and it looks like there's only 5 Hydros. These Zealots should be able to deal with this. Some Lurkers making their way up. Can the Zealots just run? The drone's actually pulling around to keep them occupied, so that's going to get cleaned up. Hydral's chewing through everything else here at the main. The rest of Dragoons trying to... The rest of this army wants to go and just try to go for a base trade, but Zealot still has a larger economy, larger army. Dragoons out on the map. The Observer's at least tracking some of these Lurkers. The Hydrals have been cleaned up. The Nexus has been redropped. Looks like that's going to be kind of worth it. Not a lot of resources left there. Dewalt trying to make his way out. A single Hydralisk is there. We also have some Scourge here, the 6 o'clock. So Dewalt's going to be delayed on a third base even further. And also Dewalt at half the worker count. So this is not looking good. Hydral's taking, or some Mutalisk taking some damage there in the air. But this is a pretty big army. Ooh, and the Mutalisks picking off, forcing out some Psystorm. They're getting picked off. Ooh, some good Psystorms to the north, though. Supply count suddenly even. We do have a lot of observers, but the army now for Dewalt is dwindling. Base trying to get built. Looks like that Nexus was emergency dropped, but that's GG regardless. Oof. I liked the idea of the Arbiter. I wish that would have worked. In my heart of hearts, I wish that would have worked. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.